What's going on, average Joes, and all of you readers out there? Just looking to read some books. Today, I want to talk about something that I've wanted to do for a while now, and a few people have commented that it might be a good thing to do, and something that I like to do from time to time, and that is talk about Kindle Unlimited books. Now, personally, I like to I read a lot of, at least half my books on Kindle. I'm not a I don't care which way I read books. You know, some people will only read a certain type of like physical books, whether it's all mass market paperback or they have to have the physical copy and feel the pages and smell the book and all that. I don't really care. As long as I'm reading the book, you know, I have all kinds of different, physical books, Kindle books, audio books, all that stuff. I listen to less audiobooks, but the majority of my reading is done on my Kindle. And that's because when I travel or, that's what I read in bed because it has the backlighting to it and it's just so convenient, especially with my bigger series, so that I can carry around my bigger series and have those, and just load up the next one, buy it right away, and send it onto my Kindle. Easy done. Especially living overseas where I am now, but I just love the convenience of it. But Kindle Unlimited is something I like to get once a year at least, because the deal is just a great deal. They are getting more and more awesome books on there, which I'm going to go over today. Um, I guess I should start with what is Kindle Unlimited. So Kindle Unlimited is, and I know this is only going to be for people with Kindles and not Amazon accounts. Is Kindle has a library, a huge library that once you sign up for Kindle Unlimited, it is a recurring monthly membership. But during that monthly membership, you can read as many books as you want if they are a Kindle Unlimited book. And you can also check out or have send 10 books at a time to your Kindle. So you can have multiple books going at once, or you can just completely load up your TBR with 10 books and then get them on there, and then they're on your Kindle. You can download them. Say you're traveling or something, you can have 10 books ready to go, and loaded. It reoccurs every month, but they do deals all the time. And normally there's like for the longest time it was like $1 or the first 30 days are free, and then you're good to go. Last year, my wife and I both did a $1 for 3 month kind of deal or something like that. It was very cheap. Well, since Christmas for the last few months, I've seen it pop up. It is, and even right now, which is also why I'm doing it. 3 months completely free trial for 3 months, which is ridiculous. So if you're, a 5 book a month reader, you can read, you can have it for 3 months, read 15 books, pay absolutely nothing, and cancel and be done with Kindle Unlimited. So it is a really, really great deal. And now, because of all the books that are on there, there's some really, really good books. And a lot of these books, they've been on my Kindle wish list for a long time just to like buy or get into. But since they're on Kindle Unlimited, it's even more of a reason for me to start Unlimited. And there's also something that I want to do and keep doing is reading self-published authors. A lot of times self-published authors, that's the route they go. And it's actually from my limited research, it's actually really good for authors for Kindle Unlimited if you read their books there versus if they go on their like flash sale for 99 cents to like less than 2.99. They actually lose money on when their books are on sale cheaper than they would if you were to read it on Kindle Unlimited. Now, I've just been doing a little bit of research toward that because really was interested in how it affects the self-published and debut authors. But Kindle Unlimited is actually really good for some of them, especially because it gets their works out there. And if you were to download and read their books like within the first week or two, then that's even more of a push and puts them to the top of the chart. So I think if you have a Kindle, this is definitely a really good, no risk, high reward opportunity to just get in there and read some books for free, support some authors, and I think it'll be really, really good. So, and for a while they had it was a lot, it was kind of slim pickings, but now that it's been around for a few years, more and more authors are starting to put their works on Kindle Unlimited, and they're even putting some of their bigger name series on there now to possibly draw people in. So, for example, if you've never read Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings, those are both on Kindle Unlimited right now. I want to talk about some Kindle Unlimited books that I will be planning on reading. So, what's going on is after I'm about to finish up a trilogy right now that I'm reading, and then I'm going to activate my Kindle Unlimited. I have a long going wish list on my Amazon of just Kindle Unlimited books, and I've picked apart a bunch of them that I. This is not a actual TBR like what I really will be reading. This is like a hey, this is possibly what I'm going to be reading over the next 3 months while I have Kindle Unlimited. But you can't really put that in a title or say that because it doesn't exactly roll off the tongue. So this is my Kindle TBR, I guess you could say. So I'm gonna run through a variety of books. A lot of them are series that I have marked out and I really want to get to. But we'll see what happens. You know, I can definitely be a mood reader. I don't plan my reading schedule per month or anything like that. I have some big name ones that I get to, and then I fill in the gaps from there. So starting off, the first one I'm going to start. This is actually the first one I will be starting. Is the Ash and Sand trilogy. Book one is Kings of Paradise. This has been getting a lot of traction, a lot more traction lately. Mike from Mike's Book Reviews did a review of it. He loved book one, and he will be continuing from there. I really want to get to it. Sounds really good. Nice and grimdark. I don't know why, but I've been feeling in a grim darky kind of mood. I read the very first trilogy I read this year so far was First Law, and how it was talked up. I was expecting it to be really grimdark, super, out there grimdark kind of thing, and I didn't quite get that. Maybe I just thought it would be worse, but it really wasn't very dark to me, or I'm just a sadist. I don't know. It has a 4.23 Goodreads rating. It's got kings, sorcerers, demons, maybe pirates. I don't know why I see the cover and I see, you see paradise and the cover is like a sword and blue water, white sand beaches, but I guess paradise. And I just think of the Caribbean. And when I think of Caribbean, I think of pirates. There's probably not pirates in here. I haven't seen it mentioned anywhere. So I'm trying not to get my hopes up that there are pirates. For some reason, I've been in a pirate mood lately. But once I get to the Black Company in a couple of months, that'll be fine. So very grimdark. Also, if I wasn't already hyped or wanted to read this even more, I saw on Petrick's Goodreads review that he mentioned that Jorg, like this is like the main protagonist in this is like Jorg from Prince of Thorns, and I love Prince of Thorns. A lot of people hate it because of Jorg. I found Jorg to be really deep and really awesome and sick and twisted, and I loved reading through Jorg's story. So that really perked me up. I'm totally going to jump into King's Paradise. Next, we are talking about, so it's called the Cradle series, and it is written by Will White. And so far, there are 8 books out. I believe I saw somewhere, I think on, again, Petrus Review, that there were supposed to be 12, which I did not know it was this long. I thought it was only like 6 books long, but hey, if it's a good series, as of right now, all of them are on Kindle Unlimited. So if you want a series to binge while you're on Unlimited and really get into a world, I've heard this is a lot of action. The first half of any series, you should expect that it's going to be a little bit slow. You got to build the world. You have to introduce the characters. You can't just like, I mean, unless you're Rage of Dragons or something, you can't just like jump into it and like hit go. The world building is kind of expected, especially when the longer a series is. So I'm very interested in this. I don't know too much about it. It does have a 4.19 on Goodreads review, and that's book one. I believe they go up from there, which is really good for a book one, especially if some people found the first half to be a bit slow. Uh, yeah, all I know is there's high action. It's a fantasy world. I think it's a what Western type fantasy, but it's something that I think this has also been on my list for a number of years, like since I've had a Kindle since back in 2012 or 2013. Next, this is going to be a great palate cleanser in between book that I'll probably end up reading second after Kings of Paradise, and then I'll go to this one, and then probably book two, Kings of Paradise. We'll see. And that is the Pawns Gambit. I think I've mentioned this one in a few other videos, along with Never Die. So Pawns Gambit is book two in not prepared. It's book two in Immortal Techniques series by Rob J. Hayes. So it's not. So it is a series. It's set in the same world, but it's not like a linear series to where you have to read book one then book two. They're pretty much standalones in the same world, at least so far. Never Die, I really liked. It was on my low key favorite reads of 2020, and from everything that I've seen, this one makes it even better. Right now, it has a ridiculously high Goodreads rating of 4.61, and it is more legendary warriors. There's a champion tournament. Um, all all these different kinds of. I'm excited for the martial arts, the action, all these different types of warriors, how they're going to battle, how they're going to fight. In the first one, Never Die, each of them had their own special skills that were interesting in their own, and I'm sure this is going to be the same, especially because it's a tournament. I'm really excited for it. I think it'll be. I think I'm going to fly through it. I'm probably going to be sucked into it just to see how the tournament plays out, and I'm going to be excited for the next one whenever Rob puts the next book out. Also, speaking of Rob, he puts out some really good, I think, monthly highlights, 10 debut authors or self-published authors, their books that are coming out. And a few of these I got from his posts. So follow him on Twitter or his site because he puts out some really good books. Next one, Escape Reality. So now we're getting into a little bit of sci-fi. I know I'm going to need to have some variety when I'm doing these for the next couple of months. I can't just straight read fantasy. I do fantasy, sci-fi, mystery thriller, all that kinds of stuff. I'll be getting into the Stephen King type books, which some of them have a very ambiguous genre, but Escape Reality is a sci-fi. It has a 4.38 on Goodreads, but there's only 8 reviews, so there's only 8 people that have rated the book, so that can kind of skew it depending on early receptions of it. But there's cyborgs, there's aliens. It's a dark sci-fi. Sounds really cool. From also the sound of it is that a person becomes a cyborg, and then slowly, whatever, there's a mission. I forgot what the mission is or the goal of it, but also part of it is that there's an eternal man versus machine struggle. So I guess the more the machine gets put into this person and becomes a cyborg, the machine starts to take over, and then their perception begins to blur, whether they're feeling human or man machine. That kind of tug of war, which I haven't really read anything cyborg wise. Usually they are kind of side characters, but I think this could make for an interesting read. So it could be a really cool a standalone palate cleanser to throw in while I'm reading everything else. Also, was I believe highlighted on Rob's posts. Dreams of the Dying. This one sounds really, really unique and interesting, and I might need to be done with one of these series or trilogies probably after Kings of Paradise before I get into it. It has a 4.76 Goodreads rating, which is the highest I have seen, and I think it had about 150 some reviews on it. Again, Petrick had a review on this one, and I remember him saying he absolutely loved it. It is the start of a series, I believe, so that might also give me pause for now because I don't like to start series that are just out and then not knowing when they will continue. But the way this one sounds, I might abandon that just to beef up the numbers of the writer and the reviews and stuff because it does sound interesting. From what I saw or from what I read, it sounds like a fantasy version of Inception. There's real a struggle with reality of the protagonist. He doesn't know what's real, what's not. I don't know too much about it. There has been lots of hype with it. There's only so many ways you can do certain fantasies, and if this sort of Inception type fantasy might be really, really cool. We Are Bob of the Bobbyverse. This one is a 4-book sci-fi series. I believe it's only 4 books, unless they're coming out with more. Not exactly sure, but all the books are on Kindle Unlimited, which is great. This is a really, really cool series from what I've heard about. It's gotten some really good reviews and hype from Moid from Media Death Cult and a lot of sci-fi people for there. It has a 4.28 Goodreads review rating, which is also very good. And especially because it doesn't sound like a very serious sci-fi. There's a certain like wit and humor to this. I guess the setup is a human dies and his brain is downloaded into an AI, and now he has become an AI. He's a human, but he's in a ship AI or computer system AI, something like that, and he's controlling things now or something. I don't know too much about it, but it sounds really interesting. I mean, what would you do if you died and then you woke up and all of a sudden your brain is in a computer and you're basically mechanical, but you still have your human brain and human thoughts? Who knows what happens with the emotions, but I'm sure there's going to be some good jokes, some good dry humor, and it's in a sci-fi setting. Again, sci-fi will be good to break up with some of these other uh, traditional fantasies. Prophecy Con is the next one. This one is the sequel to the Palace Job, and I read the Palace Job last year as part of a uh, book challenge, and it was ridiculous. It was hilarious. I just want to see what the crew gets into next. Again, another throw in quick palate cleansing read that you can't take too seriously. There's a unicorn and a talking hammer, and it was a really fun, very very kooky, off the wall, but it was really good. And I think the writer is making more of them, so other people must be liking them. And I just think it's fun to have a heist type crew. The series name for this is Rogues of the Republic, and the Goodreads review is 4.12. So that's still really good, especially for the kind of a satire, witty book that it is. Next one will be Wake Me After the Apocalypse. I think this is a duology. I only saw 2 books in the series so far, so I'm not sure if it ends there. But the setup, I'm already hooked. The Goodreads review is only a 3.93, and maybe it's just a slow setup, or maybe it's just I guess it might be a character thing, or who knows what the second book is like. But the setup is there's a comet coming to Earth, and apocalypse, basically a nuclear blackout apocalypse happens. These people go into a bunker. They go into cryo sleep to sleep for a couple hundred years and hope that the world will just clear itself off. It's kind of like, funny enough, we just started watching Wally, and it's kind of like Wally. They're just going to leave the Earth, hope things happen, and come back and start life again. Well, I guess this person wakes up out of cryo sleep. The bunker's been exploded on. There's some bones and stuff in the bunker, and she's got to figure out what happened to her team or crew there, how the Earth is like, how much time has passed. So the setup sounds like you're thrown right into it, and it sounds really cool. I haven't read too many apocalypse books, so I would like to throw some in there. I think they could be exciting enough to have as palate cleansers. So this could be a fun one to throw in. I don't think it's very long either. The next one is called La Via Lone, and that is by Barry Eisler. This has been on my list for a very long time. He has written what seems like a lot of mystery thrillers that are available on Kindle Unlimited and their series. I have I definitely like mystery thrillers, murder mysteries, those types of books. There is a ongoing one that my wife and I read that have 17 or 18 books in them, and they're fantastic. We love to throw those in there. And this is another one that I think it's like a 4 or 5 book series. And then he has another John Rain series that is about murder mysteries and such like that. But this one has a Goodreads review rating of 4.17. It is a female protagonist that is apparently looking for her sister. They were Asian immigrants, and her and her sister were separated when they were young, and now she is a detective who is hunting sexual predators. And it's kind of a vigilante. There sounds like to be a vigilante feel, like kind of like Dexter, to where try to put these people away. She's a actual law enforcement. She tries to put them away, but I guess if they get away, then she kills them or something like that. That's all I kind of really know, which I love the show Dexter also. So this sounds really, really cool to have a morally gray character that's just doing what she feels right, trying to find her sister. It sounds dark, sounds mysterious, sounds like a great book. Sounds like great books for palate cleansers. Next, getting into a little bit of East Asian inspired fantasy, and that is Callon Rising. Agents of Callon is the series. It has a Goodreads review of 3.98, and it is an Eastern fantasy with a murder mystery. So there is some murder that happened, and they're suspecting dark magic to be of that murder. And this guy is investigating to figure out who murdered them, and it's could possibly start a war. I think they're avoiding to start a war, something in that nature. I mean, you got murder mystery, you got fantasy, you got East Asian inspired. I guess sign me up. I think it sounds really, really good. And there's a couple of books in this series as well. So who knows what happens after they do or don't solve this murder? Maybe there's a bigger picture. Could be cool. Next, The Roaming. Now, this is another apocalyptic type book, but this is a zombie apocalypse one. There is a plague in the U.S. and the Undead Attack. There seems to be some dark tones on this one. I believe I forgot where I found out um, where I got this one from. It might have been from Moid on Media Death Cult. This is a trilogy, or I have seen that there are 3 books in this. The reviews are pretty good on Amazon. I couldn't even find it on Goodreads, so there's no Goodreads review. Not that Goodreads is the end all be all of reviews, but I just wanted to stay consistent with the rest of them that are going with. And Amazon reviews can be hit or miss because they could be giving shoddy reviews because their book showed up damaged or something, not the actual book content. Next, this is a very different from the rest of them, but something that I would like to read a little bit more of and sprinkle in. It could be interesting. And this is going to be a historical fiction, which I don't read very much of, and that is called The Last Lieutenant. And it is the first book in the Todd Ingram series. This takes place in World War II after the fall of Bataan in the Western Pacific, and the U.S. has given up the area, and this guy doesn't want to surrender. Lieutenant Todd Ingram doesn't want to surrender, and he's chasing after a Nazi spy, so he has to sneak out through the waters, to the territorial waters, and go into Australia to find a Nazi spy. Sounds thrilling. It has a 4.24 rating on Goodreads, which is very good, and there is about 5 or 6 more books after this with Todd Ingram as the protagonist, it sounds like. So it could be a World War II historical fiction series to get into, which could be really, really cool to throw in because historical fictions are so much different than fantasy. So it might be a really great way to have a palate cleanser and to change up from normal reads. Because you kind of know some of the events, a little bit of it, but you're just investing in the characters and the plot, which is kind of cool. And the last one I'm going to talk about, but not least, is A Thousand Li, and has 4 books. This one is also Asian inspired, and it has immortals and martial arts. I guess there's a farmer that is given the choice to be an immortal and join this organization that fights people, does something with martial arts. I don't really know too much. There's Spirit Beast I saw mentioned, which sounds really cool. So sign me up after that. You got the martial arts, Immortals, Spirit Beasts. It sounds really cool. I think they're also really short reads, easy to throw in there. So that might be a really good option. So that is a good number of books to choose from. There are well over 3 months worth of books here to read, and I'm going to see how many I can crank out. A lot of these, kind of a good thing, I guess, is a lot of these are shorter books. So I can see, I'm not going to like race to see how many I can read or anything like that, but I would like to give a lot of these a fair shot. So I am one that likes to finish series, and when I start them, I don't like to start a whole bunch of series at once. But I could see myself starting the few of these just to get the tone, just to see what they're like, seeing if I want to continue them while I have this, or pick up Kindle Unlimited down the road, and just to tell other people about the series so that they can go and check these out as well. The Cradle series, it's about to be 9 books. I don't know when the 9th one is going to come out semi soon, and supposed to be 12. On no way I'm finishing that. So I will be back on Kindle Unlimited again. I don't know when, maybe next year, but I do this at least once a year. But there are a lot of good options on Kindle Unlimited. It's good for authors. It's good for you, the consumers, because you're not spending much. I think could be a really good option if you have a Kindle. So I would encourage anybody to check these out. And please let me know if there are any Kindle Unlimited books that you know of that you would recommend as well. I would really like to know, and I can add them to my list and have them for a future Kindle Unlimited TBR type video. I might try and do a monthly wrap up of just my Kindle Unlimited reads, just so I can get the words out and such. I'm not sure if I'll do any book reviews because don't think I'd be very good at book reviews, but I'll definitely talk about some of these some more. So yeah, please let me know what you think about Kindle Unlimited books. If you have any that you want to get to, or ones I should get to, let me know. See you later.